Hello, I'm Orson Welles. We know a remote farm in Walworth where Mrs. Buckley lives. In July, peas grow there. Do you really mean that? I don't understand. We aren't even in the fields yet, you say.
Yes, we are, Mr. Welles.
We're talking about them growing, and she's already picked them, and we have a big bowl of hot peas with warm butter drizzled all over them. That's what we have.
Yes, Mr. Welles, in July, where fields are covered with snow. And, Mr. Welles, you need to emphasize the word in.
Why? That doesn't make any sense. I've never heard anyone who emphasized the word in. There's no known way in the English language where you begin a sentence with the word in and then emphasize it.
Yes.
Yes, always. We're already past that. In fact, get me a jury and show me where you say in July, and I will sing a song for you. That is absolutely idiotic. This is just stupid. Impossible, meaningless. I'd love to know just how you would emphasize in July.
Then let's change that to every July.
No, you don't really mean every July, do you? Who said that?
I did.
Who the hell are you? What? Now I have two directors telling me how to read in July? That's bad copy. Of course it's every July.
We should move on to the next commercial.
This is crazy. You don't know what I'm up against. This is quite weary. It is all quite unpleasant. And I thought we'd done these spots before. In fact, I distinctly remember recording them before.
You did, Mr. Welles. The sponsor wants fresh takes.
Fresh takes? What on earth for? I'm Orson Welles. I did it right the first time. Why waste my time and their money with a useless exercise?
I'm not sure. Sales said to just get it done.
Sales? Sales? They are as bad as lawyers. I swear, if they could turn a buck, they would shake a tambourine and strum a banjo to make a sale. What do they care if they're wasting my time?
Mr. Welles, we really do need to finish these up.
Here, under protest, is beef burgers. Hello, I'm Orson Welles. We know a little place in the American Far West where a man named Charlie Briggs, who chops up the finest prairie-fed sirloin for burgers. This is a bunch of crap. You know that, don't you?
Actually, Mr. Welles, you missed a word there.
What word?
Beef.
Oh, come on, fellas. You're both losing your heads here. I wouldn't direct any living actor like this in Shakespeare. The way you do this is impossible.
Mr. Welles, the right reading for this...
I am giving the right reading here. I spend 20 times more doing these commercials for you than I do for anyone else. And on top of it, you are such pests. Now I have two directors telling me what to do. I don't even like it when one director gets in my sights. The way you want this stupid commercial read is impossible. Simply impossible.
Mr. Welles, you did 6 of these for us last year.
Seems more like 72. What is it that you want? In the depth of your ignorance, what is it I cannot and will not deliver? All the money in the world will not be worth what you're putting me through.
Mr. Welles, we still need to re-record the first one you did 2 hours ago.
Why? There was nothing wrong with that one. Why are you putting me through this? One more word out of you, and then you go. Now, why are you being so unbearable at doing that one again? I take direction under protest and not from two. Now, I do all this under protest.
That one had a gunk.
What is gunk?
Do
you mind telling me?
From the outside.
A bang from the... A wake-up call, perhaps, for me. I must endure morons like this and this incredible, abominable squandering of time and talent. If only for respite from these gunks, the clattering cacophony, a simple yet serene place to get away. A place with answers, not questions. Perhaps I have just come up with the answer. Hello, I'm Orson Welles.
For the WGTD Radio Theater comes from the Kenosha law firm of Aaliyah, Dumais, Dunn & McTiernan, Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan, Wisconsin, and the Brown-Ullstrup Performing Arts Foundation. And now, the Kane Shadow.
Hello?
May I speak to Mr. Welles, please?
Who?
Mr. Welles. Mr. Orson Welles. Sheesh!
Oh, okay. Mr. Wells, phone for you.
Oh, great. Another interruption by modern technology. Are you sure it's not gunk? Hello, I'm Orson Welles.
Mr. Wells, it's Jeanette.
And that just makes my day. After this catastrophe you booked me into, what can I do for you, dear Jeanette?
Hey, don't take this out on me. It's not my fault that those idiots in Chicago can't get their commercial right. It was your brainstorm to do that commercial in flyover country in the first place.
Oh, so right you are, dear Jeanette. Thank you so much, Jeanette, for assisting me with that. After all, you are my assistant.
That's right, big boy, and don't you forget it.
So, Jeanette, what can I do for you?
Well, since you never bother to check in with me so that I can assist you, I thought I'd call and make sure that you were where you were supposed to be.
Oh, yes, I'm here, dear Jeanette, remaking this lousy commercial.
You know what you need?
What, pray tell, would that be?
You're close to Kenosha. You should take a drive, have a steak at Radigan's, get some R&R in time for you to come back to L.A.
As much as Jeanette can drive me right up a wall with her incessant hovering, both literally and figuratively, she was the best assistant I ever had, and she was definitely spot on with this suggestion. Well, if it doesn't upset you too much that you'd have to change my travel plans, I might just do that.
Oh, my. You're showing concern. I'll call the airline and change your flights and get you a room up there. And check in with me when you get there.
And enough of that. But she had a point. I do need some R&R, and she so aptly said, I don't have anything on my calendar, at least nothing that Jeanette couldn't reschedule. And she does need more to do. So I left for my native land, that nasty little town, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Ladies, I'm done here. There's a steak and a bottle of Cabernet with my name on it at Radigan's.
But Mr. Wells, we're not done yet. We have to get rid of that.
Yes, that gunk. I'm sure you two, with all your wonderful technology at your disposal, will figure it out without needing me and my hourly rate. And off I go. I took the scenic route to Kenosha along Lake Michigan. I wasn't in any hurry.
It's so peaceful here. This lakefront cottage is incredible. However did you find out about it?
Oh, I've been coming out to Lake Lawn Resort for years. It's not all that far from Kenosha, yet far enough, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I found out exactly what you mean. You certainly cast a spell over me. Having a lake view from the bedroom is nice. I like hearing the waves hit the shore when I'm lying in bed with you.
This is a nice bedroom with those huge windows and balcony. How it overlooks the lake out towards the golf course. And you really ought to put a robe on if you're going to stand there in front of that patio door like that. At least wrap a towel around yourself.
No one can see. Besides, I thought you needed a view from bed. Oh, and don't go pulling that sheet over yourself. I need a view too.
How's this?
I like.
I can see that you like it from here. What are you looking at through that window?
Oh, nothing. Boy, do they ever have that golf course dug up over there.
Did you know the lot of this resort was built on Indian burial mounds? They found a lot of them when they were building the golf course.
And they kept building anyway?
Oh, yeah. They called in some people from the university and they did some poking around. They took what they could, but construction kept going. Back then, no one was all that concerned.
I suppose. I wonder if they're finding any bodies there.
Yeah, I wonder. Hard to tell what anyone would find there. Or could find there in all that mess. And speaking of bodies, why don't you get yours over here?
My pleasure.
It had better be my pleasure.
I wish we had something decent to dig this out.
I know. Maybe it's a bunch of Indian arrowheads or something.
I don't know. It seems like some kind of cloth. Maybe it's an Indian blanket.
A blanket?
Well, they must have wrapped the bodies in something.
Yeah, I guess. It doesn't look like a blanket, though.
Here, I'm getting underneath this. It seems soft, not arrowheads.
Aw, cool! It's a foot!
Neat! We found an Indian.
I'm not sure about that.
What do you mean?
Since when do Indians wear wingtips?
The drive back to Kenosha was good for me. Certainly after that miserable time with those idiots in Chicago retaking a retake of a silly radio commercial. And in this business, there's plenty of that kind of thing. It's all about relationships and doing favors and scratching each other's backs. So that same thing can be done for you. Oh, how I hate all that. Why on earth is it always about who you know? After all, there are so few roles that I can't do. Why deal with all those time-wasting preliminaries and just give me the parts? At least the ones that matter. So this drive, just getting away from the rat race and getting back to the real people and real food, was just so needed. As I drove through the North Shore, memories of spending summers in Highland Park with family friend Dr. Bernstein came flooding back. Attending concerts of the Chicago Symphony and of visiting New York Symphony at that small theater, it was spending time with those eclectic, artistic souls that truly did light the theatrical spark in me so many years ago. And I don't care what they say, I did indeed star as the baby in Madame Butterfly and Peter Rabbit in Marshall Field's Christmas pageant. Here we are at Ray Radigan's.
Mr. Wells, Jeanette called and told us you were on your way. Great to see you again.
Well, great to see you, Ed. So, Jeanette is monitoring my movements from 2,000 miles away? The feds ought to hire her.
She's just being efficient. She did tell me to give her a call when you got here.
Oh, please, have mercy on me and let me have a drink first, Ed.
You bet, Mr. Wells. An old overhold, old-fashioned?
Is there any other cocktail you serve?
Coming right up. Here you go, Mr. Wells.
Thanks, Ed. Got a light?
You bet.
Thanks, Ed. So, what's new in Kenosha?
Not much. Same old, same old. What brings you to these parts?
Well, I had to be in Chicago to re-record a radio commercial.
Excuse me, Mr. Wells. Radigan's.
Hi, Ed. Is Mr. Wells there?
Mr. Wells, it's Jeanette.
I know he's there. Just put him on.
Sorry, Mr. Wells. She knows.
Don't worry about it, Ed. She's my private bit of hell on earth and no one else's. Just give me the phone. Hello, I'm Orson Welles. And what can I do for you,
I
Jeanette?
thought I told you to call me when you got to Radigan.
Well, dearest Jeanette, I just arrived, ordered a drink, and lit a cigarette. You know how it helps me deal with you when I have the proper level of chemicals in my bloodstream.
Yeah. Well, I made reservations at your favorite hotel and changed your airline ticket to open-ended, so you can fly back whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Jeanette. Anything else?
Just check in once in a while.
Yes, Jeanette. Thank you, Jeanette. Say, Ed, who are those three women sitting in the corner by the window? At the corner, table next to the window, were three extremely attractive women, and they looked, save for their clothing, identical. So strange, I couldn't help but stare, as much as I tried not to. All three were brunette, with perfectly made-up faces with the same colored cosmetics. All three were wearing wide-brimmed hats cocked over the right eyes, with the netting pulled just so over the upper half of their face. Again, identical. Their perfectly tailored suits were made the same, but they were different colors. Dusty pink, dusty blue, dusty green. Reminded me of Easter. But trust me, there was nothing sacred about these three. They were sipping on martinis straight up with a single olive. Certainly, it's not an usual event to see what appeared to be triplets, but there was just something so compelling, mysterious, irresistible about these three. I couldn't pin it down.
I don't know who they are, Mr. Wells. They came in right before you did. Said they just wanted to sit there and have a cocktail before they were shown to a table for dinner.
What is it about them, Ed?
I don't know either, Mr. Wells. But I know what you mean.
Oh, enough of this idle chat, Ed. I know there's a steak in that kitchen with my name on it, and I better get to it.
Yes, sir, Mr. Wells. I'll have your drink brought to your table.
Thanks, Ed. I walked into the dining room, and sure enough, a reserved for Mr. Wells placard was on my favorite table. I always liked the one at the front, in the corner, in front of the windows. I took a seat.
Mr. Wells, good to see you again.
Oh, Rose, my favorite waitress.
Oh, Mr. Wells, you say that to all the waitresses here.
Oh, Rose, you're not supposed to kiss and tell.
Another old-fashioned?
Of course, Rose.
We have a wonderful French onion soup tonight.
Ah, sounds perfect.
Then salad with the green goddess, king fillet, baked potato with butter, and sour cream and cream spinach.
Rose, you know me too well.
Starting out with the relish tray.
How else does one start a fine dinner?
And a bottle of Cabernet with dinner.
Rose, you're a gem. Ray always did hire some great wait staff. It was always a joy to come here. So there I was, enjoying a truly wonderful piece of meat, and who should be walking my way but the triplets. Everyone in the room spied them from the corner of their eyes. They were actually quite tall and walked with a certain cadence, a rhythm, that seemed to mesmerize everyone in the dining room. One of them must have heard something back in the bar because she turned around to look back. I could see the seams on her silk stockings were perfectly straight and ran right up the back of her
Mr.
long
Wells.
legs all the way
Mr.
up.
Wells!
Yeah. Hello, I'm Orson Welles. Can I help you?
We certainly hope you can, Mr. Wells.
Ladies, please sit down. Rose, please come over here. Ladies, can I offer you something to drink, or would you please join me for dinner, or at least a bite to eat?
Mr. Wells, you are certainly gracious, but we couldn't.
But I insist.
We can certainly enjoy a cocktail while we talk with you, if we could be so bold to ask of you some time.
Oh, I'm sure you ladies know all about being bold.
Ladies, what would you like to drink?
A very cold, very dry martini, straight up, 1 olive.
Same.
3 martinis, vodka or gin?
Vodka. We ordered martinis, and martinis are made with gin, aren't they?
Oh, please, don't blame Rose here for the drop in standards in the world. She's just responding to the decrease in civility. Now, Rose, certainly you can see that these 3 ladies are a certain class and breeding where such questions are completely unnecessary.
Right. Breeding. 3 very cold, very dry gin martinis, straight up, 1 olive each.
Thank you, Rose. Oh, and bring some finger foods for my guests. Mustn't drink without food.
Right. Finger food.
Oh, and Rose, another bottle of this wonderful Cabernet.
Yes, Mr. Wells.
Now, ladies, you have me at a disadvantage. You know my name, but I don't know yours.
Oh, forgive us, Mr. Wells. I'm Laverne Stevens, and these are my sisters, Patty
How do you do?
and Maxine.
How do you do?
Patty, Maxine, and Laverne.
Yes, that's right. Something odd about that?
Oh, no, nothing at all. And if I could be so forward to ask, I take it you 3 are...
Triplets? Yes, Mr. Wells, we are. Identical triplets.
Every.
Identical. Way.
I see. And what brings you here seeking me out?
We can't find a dear friend of ours.
And that's odd.
Why, yes, it is. The 4 of us have been friends forever.
We always saw each other on a regular basis.
Even when we lived in different cities, we always made a point to stay in touch.
Well, how long has it been since you were in touch with this friend?
The 4 of us went to dinner 2 months ago. We made a point of setting up another date for 3 weeks later. When I called to confirm, the telephone had been disconnected.
No forwarding number?
None at all. In fact, the phone company had no record anywhere.
Did you check at this friend's residence?
We did, Mr. Wells. The house was completely empty. No furniture, no clothing. Nothing.
Did the post office have a forwarding address?
Nothing.
Did this person live here in Kenosha?
Yes.
Did you go to the police?
Yes, we did. But all we could do was fill out a missing persons report. We need more action than that, Mr. Wells.
Yes, I'm sure you need action, Miss Stevens. And where was this last dinner you had with this friend?
At the Frontier Restaurant at Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan.
Well, I've never been there, but I've heard wonderful things about it. You used to meet there often?
I don't know about often.
But we would frequent Lake Lawn.
Always the three of you?
Mr. Wells, the three of us always do.
Everything.
Together.
Oh, I apologize, ladies. Rose, I spilled my wine. Please help me clean this up.
Right away, Mr. Wells. Oh, there wasn't that much in the glass. I'm not sure. Let me get you another one.
Thank you, Rose. I apologize, ladies, for spilling that wine. I'm not sure what happened there.
Oh, that's okay, Mr. Wells. We're used to men
Spilling
things
in our presence.
I can only imagine. But, ladies, what can I do for you? I'm nothing but a lowly actor on the stage of life.
Mr. Wells, you are being modest.
We've talked to the police, and they won't do anything.
The sheriff said it's a police matter.
The FBI won't touch it at all.
And the local hasn't shown any interest.
Frankly, Mr. Wells, you've shown more interest in these last few minutes in our story than everybody else put together.
Well, ladies, have you thought that maybe this so-called friend of yours just ran off with a man?
A man?
Why, yes, Miss Stevens. Usually women marry men.
Mr. Wells, you're not understanding. Our friend was a man, Mr. Albert Lunford.
Now, there was a change in events. Okay, same question. Maybe this gentleman ran off with a woman, or stole some money or something. It happens all the time, ladies.
Not Albert.
No, not Albert.
You see, Mr. Wells, at that last dinner at Lake Lawn, Albert talked about someone being after him.
He was sort of mysterious about it.
He would say things in passing.
When one of us would ask what he meant, he would just change the subject.
He was clearly nervous about whatever it was.
Or who it was.
Well, still, ladies, we all have our secrets. Maybe he just ran off.
Mr. Wells, we think Albert was murdered.
Oh, ladies, murder is such a big word. It is much more likely that this friend, this Albert, just ran off, or was sent on some last-minute trip by his boss, or has been down with a bad case of the flu, than murdered.
Mr. Wells, they found a body at Lake Lawn, buried in the old Indian mounds.
Miss Stevens, those Indian mounds are burial grounds. Of course they found a body. Or two or three, for that matter.
Wearing wingtip shoes.
Miss Stevens, lots of men wear wingtip shoes.
But Albert wore them all the time.
Yes, all the time.
Everywhere.
For everything.
I see. We said our goodbyes. I told the Stevens sisters I'd be in touch. As much as I didn't think murder was involved, I love a good mystery. I stopped at a bar to talk a bit more to Ed. Ed, how about a stinger?
Coming right up, Mr. Wells. One stinger, Mr. Wells.
Thanks, Ed. Say, Ed, what do you know about a body being dug up at Lake Lawn?
Oh, yeah. A couple of teenage boys were horsing around where they were doing some new landscaping on the golf course. You know that place was built on Indian mounds?
Yes.
Great course, overlooking the lake. Have you ever golfed there?
Do I look like I golf, Ed?
Anyway, yeah. These kids saw something poking out of the dirt. They started digging around thinking they were going to find arrowheads or something. And they find a body.
And it wasn't an Indian that was buried there hundreds of years ago?
Not unless Indians hundreds of years ago wore three-piece suits.
What happened to the body? Could they identify it?
The Warworth County Sheriff got involved. The story fell off the front page. I lost track of it.
Maybe it's time for me to go to Delavan. The next morning, after a hearty garbage plate at Frank's Diner, I headed to Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan. Lovely drive to Delavan, through Salem and Wheatland, and then Lake Geneva, through the wooded lake area to Delavan Lake itself, and the Lake Lawn Resort. I always found that the best place to find anything out was from the bartender, so I headed to the bar at the Frontier Restaurant and introduced myself to the bartender. Hello, I'm Orson Welles.
Well, how do you do, Mr. Welles? And are you the Orson Welles?
I'm afraid I am.
Well, I'm one of your biggest fans. What are you doing way out here?
Well, to be honest, Chet, I'm doing a little detective work about that body some kids found on the golf course.
Oh, I see. Oh, but I'm forgetting myself. What would you like to drink?
You know what I could go for, Chet?
What's that, Mr. Welles?
A very cold, very dry martini, straight up, 1 olive.
And I assume you mean gin.
Is there any other way?
I like you, Mr. Welles. Here you go, Mr. Welles, 1 martini. Oh, here, let me get that light for you.
Thanks, Chet. So, what is the story about this body they found?
Could I speak to Mr. Wells? Could I speak to Mr. Wells, please?
Oh, yeah, just a second. Mr. Welles, the phone's for you.
Of course it is. Jeanette, how lovely of you to call.
Yeah. Do you have your proper amount of chemicals in you yet?
Yes, Jeanette.
Okay, I made reservations at Lake Lawn in one of their suites for tonight, so you're all set.
Thank you, Jeanette. What would I do without you?
Starve and sleep in your car.
Enough of that. Again. So, Chet, tell me about these boys.
Not sure what you already know, but these 2 high school boys are riding their bikes along the lake to the golf course. They're doing some landscaping on the 12th hole right along the lake, and something caught their eye. The boys started digging around, and they uncover a body.
No chance it was an Indian from some burial mound?
No, sir. This guy was from modern times. Nice shoes and everything.
Any idea on the body?
None I heard of. I guess the body was pretty badly decomposed.
No wallet or anything like that?
Nope.
Where are these boys? What happened to them?
The police questioned them, but that's all as far as I know.
Were they local boys?
Oh, yeah. I see them all the time riding their bikes. They never caused any trouble. Just goofing around and near the lake. They usually ride along a path down there. Hey, I think that's them. They're sitting on that bench.
You know, maybe I'll go down and talk to them. Could you reserve a table for me, Chet? I'll be back in a few minutes, and I want to try something off of that wonderful menu.
You bet, Mr. Welles.
I ran out the back door. Well, let's just say I walked very fast. The boys were still sitting on the bench by the lake. I yelled to them, Boys, I'd like to ask you some questions.
Okay.
I walked up to them. Hello, I'm... Orson Welles.
Okay.
I understand that you boys found that body on the golf course.
Yeah?
Would you mind telling me about it?
What do you want to know?
Well, why don't you tell me how you found the body? You were riding your bikes along the lake?
Yeah, we were riding along the lake and I saw something shiny in the dirt they were digging up on the golf course.
So you stopped?
Yeah. We sort of poked around at them and got some branches to dig at it.
We thought we might have found an Indian blanket or some arrowheads or something.
But it wasn't?
No, we were digging and we found this foot.
Was it an Indian foot?
No, it had a regular shoe on it. Not a moccasin or anything.
Well, what did you do then?
We just ran to the front desk and told them.
And they called the police?
Yeah.
What did they do?
They just asked us a bunch of questions and that was it.
Did they dig up the body?
Well, they had some other people come over, and they dug up the body and took it over in an ambulance.
And that was it?
Yeah, that was it.
No one asked you anything about it?
Nope, not until you, mister.
Okay, boys. Thanks for your help. I handed them each a $5 bill. Here, boys, get yourself an ice cream or something.
Geez, mister, thanks.
Yeah, mister, thanks.
I walked back to the frontier. The boys told me nothing new, but I've learned that good detective work means not overlooking anything. Say, Chet, Got that table ready for me.
You bet, Mr. Wells. The hostess will show you to it.
And just then, as the hostess was showing me to a table right next to the windows overlooking the lake, a shrieking voice pierced my eardrums. My instinct was to run away, hide, escape, flee the scene, like my very life depended on it. Only it was too late. I heard this old woman's shrill voice shout out,
Orson? Orson Welles?
I turned, and sure enough, there she was, sitting at a table in the middle of the dining room as though she were holding court. Grandmother, look at what the cat dragged here to this wonderful establishment. And I'm sure it was a black cat.
Orson, you really should pay me more respect. I am your grandmother, after all.
An unfortunate circumstance of birth.
And it's not as though you amounted to anything.
Pardon me?
Acting, please. You could have been a leader in the community, following in a career in business or law. Instead, you go from job to job with no real security and not tending to the heritage of your family.
So good to reconnect with you, grandmother. Always good to catch up. And what, pray tell, are you doing way out here in Delavan?
I've come out here for years. I took the lake house for a few weeks to relax. And you? What brings you out here? Oh, wait. You're in a restaurant.
Grandmother, why don't you introduce me to your friend here? Or is he your sacrifice at your next black mass?
Stop spreading those rumors about me being a witch and practicing the black arts.
Then explain the secret locked closet, the altar, the dead pigeons.
Oh, stop this nonsense. Christian Science is not witchcraft.
I never said it was. I said that you were some kind of a sorceress, which has nothing to do with any Christian religion.
Oh, that's just cruel, Orson.
And this is...
Orson. This is Albert Lunford. Albert Orson Welles.
Yes. How do you do?
By any chance, do you know Patty, Maxine, and Laverne Stevens?
Why, yes. They're some of my very best friends.
Well, Mr. Lunford, those three women are very worried about you. In fact, they are the reason I am here. To investigate that body those kids found on the golf course. The Stevens sisters thought it might have been you, sir.
I guess I've been out of touch.
They tried calling you, looking at your home, mailing you. It looked as though you disappeared from the face of the earth.
Oh, well, I was just spending a lot of time with Mary.
With my grandmother?
Yes, Orson, with me. Albert and I have been enjoying each other's company for quite some time. We've been staying at the lake house here.
Oh, now there's a vision I wish I could get out of my head.
We're in love, Mr. Wells.
So, Granny, you cast some kind of spell over him like the others?
Just stop it.
Grandmother, I am
Go
more than
away.
happy to comply. And Mr. Lunford, I suggest you come down from that cloud of love you're on and get in touch with the Stevens sisters. They will be around a lot longer than this old crow.
Mr. Wells, that woman is on the phone again.
Is there no peace for me? Tell her I'll check in with her later. Yes, I'll get back to her as soon as I enjoy a wonderful meal and a great bottle of wine. And while I do that, I will be thinking about the next mystery to solve. After all, there is that dead body from the burial mounds to deal with. I wonder if the Stevens sisters are available to help me.
This has been the Kane Shadow. If you can choose your friends, can you murder your relatives? The Kane Shadow is created and written by Stephen Brown and Michael Ullstrup. As always, support for the WGTD Radio Theater comes from the Kenosha law firm of a.k.a. Dumais, Dunn & McTiernan, Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan, Wisconsin, and the Brown-Ullstrup Performing Arts Foundation. Starring were members from the 91.1 Players, John O'Lexi as Orson Welles, and also Chris Brooks, Siegfried Christoph, Vicky Dumais, Steve Dundas, Todd Eves, Susan Fear, Jill Jensen, Dan Locke, Terry Myers, Jeremiah Vergis, Naomi Weissman-Zabler, Brooke Wagner, Evan Zulke, and Kathy Zulke. The Kane Shadow was directed by Mike Ullstrup. Today's production crew were Bob Newman, Barb Tyler, and Steve Brown. And now, it's the Professor.
Oh, hey, it's my phone. Hello?
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 Ma?
Hello?
Ma?
What is this with these
hello?
fakakta things?
Hello?
They never work right. Hello?
Hello?
Leland, could you
Ma,
look
are you
at this
even there?
thing? Why doesn't it ever work when
Ma?
I answer it?
Hello?
It's the Professor?
Hadassah? Yes, it's Leland.
Where's Ma? What's wrong? Why are you answering the phone?
Well, nothing's wrong. Your mother just has a problem answering this phone of hers.
I do not have a problem answering phones. There's a problem with that phone.
That's what I mean, Estelle. There's something tricky with this phone.
Where's Dad?
He's playing tennis with Irving.
Oh, that's good. Where are you?
We're all in the clubhouse.
Oh, okay. I get it now. So, Leland, how are you? I haven't talked to you in ages.
Things are good. Nothing special going on, but classes are good, weather is good, health is good. Can't ask for too much more.
I hear you. You were so lucky you moved out of Milwaukee and down to Florida. The weather here got so cold already. There's a frost in the ground.
I don't regret making the move whatsoever.
Okay, give me the phone now. Hadassah, what's wrong?
Nothing's wrong, Ma.
Why'd you call? Something must be wrong. You only call when something's wrong.
I do not.
I know you don't call. That's why something must be wrong.
So, Ma, are you and Dad ready for your trip up here for the holidays?
Oh, yes, we're ready. Your father has the whole route mapped out.
What route? You're flying up here.
No, you know your father. He has the route mapped out between the condo and the airport, and then how we should walk through the airport.
Isn't Irving taking you to the airport?
Exactly. Your father and Irving have been figuring out the best routes based on construction and time of day, and they've been using maps from the AAA, something on the internet, something on their phones. It's driving me nuts.
Dad needs a hobby.
That's the last thing he needs. He'd overanalyze that, too. Say, Hadassah,
Yeah?
how's Brianna been?
She's fine.
Has her visitor come yet?
Her what?
You know, her visitor.
Ma, what are you talking about?
You know, her visitor. You know, the one that comes once a month.
Oh, jeez. No, Ma, she hasn't had her period yet.
Shh, don't go saying that so loud.
Ma, everyone knows about periods.
Shh, I don't want anyone to hear you.
Fine, Ma, we'll call it the visitor. What brought this on?
What?
Why do you want to know if Brianna has had a period?
Ganuk. Find another word.
Fine.
Well, I was watching The View one day, and Whoopi was talking about girls as young as 5 have started, you know.
Ma, they need to talk about something on that show. That doesn't mean every 5-year-old is having a period. Visitor. Trust me, Brianna is fine that way.
Good. This is, normal?
What?
That her visitor hasn't come yet.
Well, Ma, she's a little young. Everybody is different. I mean, I didn't get my visitor until I was 16.
And do I remember that? Oh, talk about...
Ma! Brianna's fine. No issues.
Well, I just wanted to make sure she was developing right.
She is, Ma.
Whatever. I guess.
Okay, Ma. Now, here's the plan for your visit. We'll have Hanukkah dinner at my house. I invited some friends over.
Friends?
Yeah, Ma. Hanukkah is always more fun when the house is full of people.
Okay, I'll try it. Of course, I always based Hanukkah around you kids and what was fun for you.
It will be fun, Ma.
Whatever.
Then we're going over to my friend Ashley's and her husband's for Thanksgiving.
We're going to someone else's house for Thanksgiving?
It'll be fun.
It makes you happy.
Oh, okay, Ma. I gotta go. I'll call you before you leave and make sure everything is still on schedule.
Call your father. He'll have exactly where you should pick us up.
Okay, Ma. I'll call Dad. Talk to you later. Love you.
Love you too, honey.
So, how was Hadassah?
I'm not sure about her plans when we're up there. All these friends. I used to have everyone at my house for all the holidays. I'm not too sure about going out. I mean, do I make something? But how can I make something when I'm not home? And I hate cooking in someone else's kitchen.
Irving, are you done playing tennis already?
Marty and I need something to drink.
What are you getting from the bar?
Some beer.
Beer?
Yeah, we're loading up on carbs.
You're loading up on carbs by drinking beer?
That's crazy. You tell Morty to just drink some water.
We need carbs. We've been running around all morning. I read all about this.
Tell you what, Irving. How about living off the carbs hanging over your belt? That'll keep you going for a long time.
You won't be laughing when you're both passed out on the tennis court out there.
Yeah. We won't be laughing. How about drinking some cranberry juice? It'll help you with your plumbing.
Tell Morty that, too. If I hear one more thing about his prostate, I'm going to scream.
And remember, the four of us are having lunch at noon, so just leave enough time to shower.
Lunch.
Well, that's a new one. Beer is a health food?
You know, if they would just drink some cranberry juice, eat a bran muffin every morning, they would be less irritable.
Exactly. And a little Activia wouldn't hurt either.
So what's this about beer being a health food? I knew it would always happen. First you shouldn't drink something and then you should. First you shouldn't eat something and then you should. How do you keep track of it all? I'll tell you how I keep track of it all. I don't. Just stay active. The rest doesn't matter. Me, I walk as much as I can every day. I get quite a workout shopping at the malls and the outlet stores. And those outlet stores are always outside, and boy, that gets to be a schwitz in the heat down here. Not like in Dallas, where I live with my second husband, Ani. Oh, but hot is hot and sweat is sweat.
Yeah, Tootsie. Sweat is sweat. Say, did you ever get anyone from J-Date?
Boy, did I get someone. A lot of someones.
Tootsie, you're trying J-Date?
Yeah, you know, I thought I'd check it out. Everyone is doing this internet thing, so why shouldn't I?
Well, I was checking out ourtime.com. Thought it might be interesting.
Oh, it gets interesting, all right. Just listen to some of these characters the website hooking me up with. Sensitive, 97 FA, 69 years old, from Boca Raton. Pit lawyer, 66 years old, from Boca Raton. I've never been married to a lawyer. Elliot G, 77, 72 years old, Boca Raton. Looks like Boca is the place to be for single women. Ozzy, 75, 68, Sunrise, Florida. Now, where is that? Happy Days, 1D22, 68 years old, Lake Worth. I get at least one email a day with someone who is after me.
But they're all old. I thought you wanted a young guy, Tootsie.
Yeah, but the problem with a young guy is that they have no money.
So are you going to try one of these guys?
Oh, I might try one. Just one. And then just for lunch. Yeah, but he's paying.
That was It's the Professor. Keep up with the gang at Boca del Rio. Phase 3 next time on the WGTD Radio Theater. The stars of It's the Professor were Vicky Dumais, Kathy Zulke, Terry Myers, John Alexi, Siegfried Christoph, and Naomi Weissman-Zabler. This episode was directed by Mike Ullstrup. It's the Professor is written by Steve Brown and Mike Ullstrup. Special sound effects today were created by Barb Tyler. And recorded sound effects were created by Steve Brown. The sound engineer was Bob Newman. Today's announcer was yours truly, Steve Dundas. Support for the WGTD Radio Theater comes from the Kenosha law firm of a.k.a. Dunn & McTiernan, Lake Lawn Resort, and the Brown-Ullstrup Performing Arts Foundation. Join us on Saturday, December 14th, when the WGTD Radio Theater presents a special holiday show full of music and fun from Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan, Wisconsin. For the WGTD Radio Theater, this is Steve Dundas signing off. Have a great day.
You're listening to WGTD HD, Kenosha, Racine, Elkhorn, and Lake Geneva, your gateway to public radio.